Hey guys, basically this is a response to my own video that was a response to Akata's video, the Ethiopian chick who was belittling black people, or African American women, I should say. And especially this is towards Miss Piggy Pork Chop, or Miss Pork Chop Piggy. I think that's your name. I can't remember. Number one, I don't think you were listening or to my video, or you really understand what I was saying. Not once did I defend ghetto behavior or what African Americans are perceived today. That type of thing that we're perceived today, I'm not defending it. Not once have I said, yeah, we act like that, and yeah, we're going to continue acting like that. I never said that. Okay, what I did in my video response was point out that the stereotypes that's against African American people are towards people from Africa and Afro-Caribbean people. So the things that Akata was saying about African American women apply to her as well, although it's not true. Okay, I understand what you're saying, that as black people we need to stop being in denial. I'm not in denial. That's number one. Okay, I understand that as a community we are falling apart, and I have mentioned that in my other videos. I don't know if you bothered to look at my other videos, but I think you should. And when you see that, you know you're gonna bite your tongue and put your foot in your mouth. Basically, what you said is not a resolution. It's not a resolution. Okay, you said the first thing to do is stop being in denial. The next thing you said is I acknowledge. When you say I, you're not talking about a group of people, you're talking about yourself. So that's not a solution for a community, for a population. That's not a solution. That's your personal advice, I guess, to yourself and what you're going to do for yourself. A solution to fix the problem is basically digging up the root, finding out what exactly is the problem coming from. Education. Okay, we're not educated. So first thing we need to do is educate ourselves. That's the solution. Another thing we need to do is stop spending money on materialistic things and start investing in things that's going to help build us as a people, as a group, as a community. Okay, we need to learn how to farm. We need to learn how to grow crops. We need to learn how to survive on our own as a people and not depend on I guess other outlets. Okay, so those are solutions. Okay, telling people, oh, you need to stop being ghetto, you need to stop cursing and being on welfare, that's not a solution. You're just telling people what they need not to do. Okay, so I think you need to look at what you're saying as a black person, as yourself, and think about actual solutions that's going to better people. You're actually like Akata telling black people, yeah, you're ghetto, yeah, you need to stop doing that. Me, I'm not going to tell somebody to stop behaving a certain way because I don't know why they behave a certain way. What I will do is offer help. Okay, I teach. Okay, I give back to my community. I speak to youngsters who don't have positive role models in their life, and I try to be that positive role model in their life. That's a type of solution. Okay, as far as your statistics and talking about black women have the highest rate of AIDS in America, that's not true. Again, we're only 14% of the population, and statistics also stated that African American people do not get tested. So if we don't get tested, how come we have the highest number of cases of HIV if we don't get tested? That's impossible. How do you know if we're not going into the clinics and the hospitals and getting tested? So those statistics are actually lies. They're not true. Or they're lying about African American. Something is a lie. They're either lying about us coming in to get tested. Obviously, we are getting tested, and that's a lie. Or they're lying about the numbers of people that are HIV infected in the African American community. Another thing, we're only 14% of the population, and again, there are more women than men. So if you cut that 14% of the population and say 10% is women, and we're going to say majority, 73% of the 10% of women are infected with HIV. That doesn't mean there's more women, African American women with AIDS than white women or Hispanic women. Okay, they outnumber us 10 times more. So even if 2% of the Caucasian community was infected with HIV, there will still be more white people with AIDS than black people. Okay, this is common sense. This is like 1 + 1 = 2. So I don't understand why people even bothering to write that crap on my wall or underneath comments and stuff. I mean, really read what you're saying, because you really sound ignorant. Okay. Another thing I would like to point out is that when you say black people need to stop, you're putting yourself aside of black people. When you're saying black people, instead you need to say we, us. Okay, instead of them, black people, African American people. Say we, say us. Don't you identify with that category? Okay. And I also will say this. I don't know if other people looked at my other video, but I'm not sure. But I will say this, is that I'm going to apologize to Akata. Because I forgot. And I know this because I took a class about this to get better knowledge about not African Americans, about Afro-Caribbeans and people from Africa, and why they think the way they think about African American people, why they think we're lazy, why do we think that we're worthless and stuff like that. I took a class on that to really understand. And what I found was that Africans and Afro-Caribbean people, well, I shouldn't say African-Caribbean people. African-Caribbean people are actually in denial. Okay, they do have the same history as African Americans. It's just that they were in a different part of the world. Okay, but Africans that come directly from Africans don't share the same history as African Americans. Okay, they don't identify with the slaves. They may have the history that countries sold people from the continent to others in other continent, but after they were sold, they don't relate with the issues that that happened to us in America. Okay, so let me just clear that up. So I'm going to apologize to Akata for expecting her to automatically embrace African Americans, where in fact she's right. She doesn't share the same culture as us. She doesn't share the same language as us. But what I will point out is that you are an African, and you do identify with other Africans because you were born in the same continent. For example, I am a New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York. Okay? I may not identify with somebody down south or behave the same way that a black person down south behaves, because we grew up in different parts of the country. Okay? But I still identify with them because we are still black and we have similar culture. Okay, if that makes any sense. Their dialect and English is different from ours. Okay? Even as a Canadian, they're from North America. They're from further up in North America, and we're on the lower part of North America. Okay? And yet, our American culture does not identify with Canadian culture, but we still know that Afro-Canadians are still black. And we identify with each other because we have similarities. It's not that I will say, oh, you have to identify with us because we share the same skin. It's not that. It's just that we are put in the same category by the dominant group. And that's why African Americans embrace all people of color, because we're all treated the same way. Okay? When other people of color started to migrate to this country, who do you think embraced you? African Americans. Okay? We didn't go and say, oh, you're from the Caribbean, get out of our community. We didn't say, oh, you're from Africa, get out of our community. We embraced you and we welcomed you with open arms. Okay? That was the only way other people outside of the African American race would have embraced you as well. Okay, please understand that. The same thing that goes with Hispanics. When you guys start to migrate over here, African Americans are the ones who embraced you and taught you the language and taught you the culture. If it wasn't for African Americans, you would still be a lost cause here in America. And I think as we as a people that we embrace, but we're not being embraced back. So should it be wrong for me to say, as African Americans, maybe we need to be just as stubborn and just as stuck up as other cultures? Maybe we should just turn our back away from people that identify with our skin complexion, but come from outside of America. Maybe we should just turn our backs on them and ignore them as a people and let them strive on their own. I don't know. What do you guys think? But again, back to Msprorkchoppmisspiggy. Your statistics are wrong, and you're all over the place with your conversation. Again, you started bringing topics up that I wasn't even addressing, that I wasn't even talking about. Nobody was talking about it. But being that you brought it up, I decided to, touch on an issue a little bit in terms of HIV and, wedlock and stuff like that. FYI, if you look up weddings or marriage and look up the divorce rate in America, no matter who the race, no matter what the race is, you will find that the entire population of Americans have died. The rates have died down in terms of marriages, and the divorce rates are up as a population. So I mean, marriage is not being married out. I mean, having children out of wedlock is not just the African American problem. It's an American problem. All nationalities and all races that are in America is going through this or is related to the topic of somewhere, because Americans have died down when it comes to getting married, and the divorce rates has skyrocketed. You need to just Google that, and you will find, although that some statistics is off, you will find that in every statistics that the numbers in terms of marriage is low and the divorce rate is up. No matter what the numbers up, you will find that the marriage is low, divorces are up. So when you say African Americans don't get married, I mean, that's not true. I already said my parents were married. Okay. I don't have any children, and I don't plan on having children until I have a husband. So again, you need to, I don't know what you hear, or I don't know how you interpreted things, but it's off. Okay? Stick to the topic. Make sure what you're saying is relevant to the conversation. Otherwise, like, I really didn't want to respond to you, but I responded to you because you kept responding on this video, and it was kind of annoying because you're off topic. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I want you to understand that you're off topic, and what you're talking about is not relevant to the conversation. And what your solutions are actually not solutions for African American as a whole, as a people, as a community. That's just advice for your own personal opinions. Again, what I said were reasons, okay? And I compared. I didn't say it's right for African Americans to behave the way they do, or the stereotype of African American behavior is right. I never said that. Okay. Again, you need to look at my other videos, and you would end up putting your foot in your mouth. My solutions in my other videos, basically, I said that we need to buy stocks. We need to educate ourselves. We need to buy property. We need to buy land. We need to grow crops. We need to build schools. That's what I said for solutions. You telling people to stop behaving in a certain manner is not a solution, honey. But anyway, feel free to comment, guys. And let's learn to love each other as a people and stop trying to segregate ourselves from each other. Because at the end of the day, martial law will take place, and the dominant group will always categorize us as minorities, no matter what part of the world we were born in. As long as we share the same skin complexion, we're just put in the same category. So please understand that, people, and let's love each other. Peace.